Welcome everybody to the Friday Show, the third episode of 2019. We're doing it, people. That's called consistency.
Yeah.
All right, today on the show we got Sammy, like always, and Luis.
Hey.
Sammy's like half the time on the show. So
That's
like,
true. Luis is the important one, really.
Thank you.
And then we got special guest, an actual semi-famous person from radio in Boston, my cousin, David Mercado. Say hi to the people.
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, guys.
Is that not your name?
He forgot it.
Who else would it be?
No, that's my name, yeah.
How many
You have
David Mercados are there?
You have a
It's
master's.
probably a lot, Danny.
Well, not in Boston.
He has a master's
Well,
in
that-
engineering. He doesn't
Well,
have a
David
master's
has-
remembering his name.
I'm going to introduce this very famous person. David has a master's in robotics engineering from, mechanical engineering from MIT. He is currently in between careers.
You know, a good time to choose to just reverse your entire life is after you get a master's degree.
After you dedicate 6 years to work, you say, I'm going to try something else.
Let's just see what happens.
You know, all that work, you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Who cares?
To be fair, he's fresh out of college, so, he's looking around. So what he's really, doing right now, he's, putting a lot of work into his radio show on 88.1 WMBR, which is kind of a big deal.
In Boston. If we have any listeners in Boston, check that out. We only have like 2 listeners, but maybe one of them's in Boston.
We got a couple people in Boston, I know.
You could also go to WMBR.org if you want to listen to it remotely.
Got a
David, you gotta speak up, man.
WMBR.org?
Yes. WMBR, the
.org.
Boston radio channel.
It's the MIT radio station.
Whatever. It's a deal. It's something.
Go check it out. Debbie, give them a little taste of what you're going to be playing on your channel.
We don't have the rights to anything. We don't have the rights to play.
No, I
anything.
just wanted to say
we can-
names of bands. I didn't want them to like play the music.
I can kind of sing it, you know, like.
Okay, sing it. This is post rock, so this is the much you can sing.
Just let him play 3 minutes of a random song.
It's in 3 minutes, more like 30 minutes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, we can't do that.
That's just that's the intro track of most post rock albums. So
All right, so I'm gonna give David a little interview. So, would you say radio is like one of the main things you're doing right now? One of the things you're focusing on?
It's the only thing that I find fulfilling in my life right now.
there you go.
Is that sad or is that a good thing?
You know, it's a mixed thing. You know, it's I don't get paid for what I'm doing, but it's enjoyable nonetheless.
Yeah, fair enough. We don't get paid for what we do.
We're all
Yeah,
in the
Well,
same
that's
boat. We're all in the
our
same
end
boat
goal
here.
is to get paid though. In the magical future where where everything works on right.
I guess I'm also fulfilled knowing that I am hosting a non-paid government employee in my house.
Oh yeah.
Danny's kind of like
3 weeks.
Danny's kind of like a refugee right now, and you're really
Yes, I
you're
kinda
taking
am.
care of him.
He's essentially a refugee in my house.
I am 4 weeks. This is my 4th week in essentially slavery.
And
Because I have to work,
David-
and I'm not getting paid.
David set up a nice FEMA camp, like a little tent out front that he's over there right now.
I'm hooked up nice in the basement. This is it's actually a really great basement.
It is. It's a little cold right now, but it's otherwise very nice.
The first 5 weeks I've been here, there was apparently no heating in the basement. So I was just taking the cold, and then out of nowhere, David said, "Hey, we have heating in the basement if you want."
David, why did it take you 5 weeks to think that he might want heat?
No, I wasn't here, and when I left, the heating was on.
I guess it turned
Danny,
on.
how did you survive in a basement in 14-degree weather?
It just started getting 14. It was more
okay.
like high 20s, low 30s. So it wasn't horrible.
It's not like
But-
that's below freezing or anything. Sure.
No, but let's get back to David. He's the focus, not my misery in Boston.
Well, thank you.
So David, getting back to the radio. So you did a master's in mechanical engineering. Do you feel like you could switch careers to radio, or is this just a hobby that you really like?
For now, it's mostly a hobby. Most of the jobs I'm looking for are still in what I studied, because I figured that I would get more of a likelihood of finding a job there. But yeah, if I ever make a transition into just radio or music or that in general, I don't think my degree really. The degree itself, I don't think was very relevant to that.
To radio?
No.
No, absolutely not. It has nothing to do with radio.
Yeah.
Also, you got to speak up. You're whispering to the mic.
You might be able to design like a radio soundboard or something, but
No, I mean, there's a lot of like electrical engineering work related to music and radio.
well, you've been
Yeah, I'm
doing.
sure you could get something related to
but
radio.
You've been doing You've been doing that radio shit for a few years now, haven't you?
Yeah, I started joined the radio station around this time 4 years ago, and I've been doing that radio show for 3.5 years.
3.5 years. That's a long time.
That's a lot
So, but
of
you only
radio
do-
experience. I'm saying, like,
It is.
You may be
Yeah.
able to get a job doing some radio thing. I don't know anything about that world, but
No, but right now you still have your heart set on something related to mechanical engineering.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't exactly say my heart is set on that. but
Jesus.
It's more,
So
it's
you
more like
spent
his
6
parents
years of
have
your
their
life,
hearts
or
set
like
on
what?
it.
It's like it's something that I enjoy, and that will give me money. I think that's, and so every now and then I find that kind of stuff exciting. It just depends on how it is that I am working on it.
do you enjoy mechanical engineering? Because I don't even really know what you do. Do you design like something mechanical?
Yeah, so mechanical engineering is a very broad field. So I'm going to talk specifically about what I work on. I mostly study things related to robotics. The control of machines, the motion of these machines, so making things move, the design of them, so actually putting together stuff. A lot of my favorite things that I did while I was studying was actually thinking of a robot to design and then building it from scratch.
Wait, is Boston Dynamics an MIT?
It was founded by people who graduated from MIT.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like around that thing.
I've applied there, but they don't seem to want me there.
Okay.
How did you do at studying in mechanical engineering? Were you top of the class, somewhere around the middle, or you just barely got out?
Well, in undergrad, I was definitely top of the class, or near the top. In grad school, I did really well in most of my classes, but when it came to my research, I barely got out alive.
Really?
Yes.
So what is research? Like, you have to do something independently? What is that?
Yeah, it's mostly independent. What it is that you pair up with a professor, and you have some sort of question that you want to answer. Sometimes that question comes later on. Sometimes it comes very early on. And you usually work with some sort of machines, or you do studies to answer that question.
What kind of question? Like, give me an example of a question.
Well, for us, it was can we use an existing machine to measure different properties of the body? So we were trying to measure how stiff tissue can be. I used this one machine to try to measure to see if the applications. I didn't actually test it too much on humans, but we wanted to use the machine to test out, say like breast cancer. If you touch different parts of the body, can you tell if it's healthy tissue or not?
And could you?
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, what I developed was something that could be used for that. Now, if it's going to be used, that's a different story. A lot of stuff that you research doesn't actually get implemented.
That's interesting. So you wrote that, like, basically you wrote your thesis on that?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens to that thesis after you write it? Is that yours? Did you copyright it, or can they, like, does the MIT own it? Because that could be used in some kind of, like, medical research. I don't know how that, like, works.
Yeah, so that, I don't know the ownership, how it really works. I think everybody involved has some sort of some sort of ownership of it. Nothing of what I wrote, I think, is, what's it called? None of it is particular, like, None of it is so.
It's not groundbreaking
specific.
or anything.
I mean, it's not really that groundbreaking, but it's a little bit groundbreaking. But it's not something that can be really copyrighted. Really, I mean, it's knowledge.
Yeah.
You can take that and then run with it however you want, but it's not. Anything
Well, I
that
just
can
don't know
say-
if like this, like the way you just said it before. The first thing that popped in my head is that MIT is basically like fucking a bunch of graduate students and taking their ideas. And
Is that something that's happening? Like, let's say hypothetically, you make something groundbreaking. You cured cancer with robots or something.
Sure, yeah.
Does MIT take that and they're the owners of that, or is that all you?
No, so what happens is that if you ever sell off an idea to a company, or if you found your own company using technology that was developed at MIT, MIT has ownership of a percentage of that technology.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, so
like-
basically, like you have to do something with your research. Like you'd have to start a company,
Yeah.
and you'd have to.
Yeah,
like,
the research by itself is not very useful. I mean, it could be useful, but by itself it's not. But if you take that research and then you make money out of it, then MIT is interested in that.
I just imagine like some MIT bureaucrat going through piles of thesis papers looking for stuff to steal, and they're just like,
Every year at the end of the year, there's just one guy going through looking for gold.
yeah, and
You
it's
know, you
like,
kind of laugh at that, but we have a business school here at MIT, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
a lot of the people in that business school, they go through, the things that people have published at MIT, and
They look for something
and
good.
if there's something that's good, yeah, there's something that they think that they can make a business out of, they usually try to contact the professors or the grad students that worked on that.
Huh, that's clever.
I don't expect you to know this, but do you know like what, like if you had to estimate a percentage of whatever comes out that is actual like profit making, or like, you know, has some what's it called, some like opportunity to become something big, potential to become something big.
Yeah. That's kind of hard to quantify, because
Do you know
let's
it? Do
say
you know
like
about
in my lab, the one that I worked at, in the 80s and 90s, the professor that I worked with, he spent 20 years basically leading up to a technology that he founded a company out of, and he made a lot of money out of that company, but it took him 20 years to get there. A lot of the people that worked on that technology throughout the years never saw any of that money, because they were just tiny steps into what would eventually be the big goal that he was looking for.
So
I mean,
yeah,
they got
like
an
that
education out of it.
professor, like that professor is working on one thing for 20 years, but he has like a whole like roster of graduate students coming in and out. They're only there for 2 years, so they come there, work for 2 years, and then leave. So,
Yeah, 2 years or possibly 5.
And they get no money out of it. The only thing they get is an education.
So
and they have to spend
ones that
hundreds of
they're-
thousands probably.
I think there is one. Usually there might be 1 or 2 grad students that do get lucky if they're there at the very end of that stage,
Yeah.
and they make contributions that are like able to be patented. Because like I said, like the other people are working mostly on knowledge. It's hard to patent knowledge.
Yeah.
But once you actually create a product, then that is something you can patent. And
That's weird.
Make
Like I
money.
never like the whole academic world is something I'm interested in, because I want to go to graduate school. I'm actually going to apply to it this year to see if I can get in the fall of next year.
What are you gonna study, Lucy?
English, the same stupid shit that won't get me any money. But I'm saying I still want to do it. But I'm
Okay.
saying,
back-
was that your fiance laughing in the background?
yeah, she's here showing me some shit, even though she knows I'm doing something. But
Dropped a new music video.
what?
Rosalia dropped a new music
Cool. David, do you know who Rosalia is?
video. No silent.
Oh my god.
No, I don't actually.
Rosalia is this Spanish kind of pop singer, but she kind of fuses pop, like current pop music, and like flamenco, and it's really cool.
That's cool.
You should look it up.
All right, but we're focusing on David now, Lucy, not you, and not Rosalia.
I know, but Alex is super into Rosalia because I showed her that, and she loves it. So she was just showing me.
If you don't know Alex, David, but Alex has slowly become more and more Hispanic over the year.
I mean, I met her for like what felt like 10 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, in those 10 minutes, she was still very white. Now she has become more and more Hispanic.
I don't know how
She's
white she
learning
ever
Spanish.
really was, but she
She was very white,
she just screams at me and shit all the time.
which is very Hispanic of her.
Yeah. But
All
let's
right, so
get
back
into
to
this
David now.
academic world shit, because this is something I might be doing, but it would be in like English, which is a different field. But it would be the same thing, because English people who do literature and stuff, they write papers on that stuff. But that's more like you publish it and then you can. Actually, I have no idea how you would make money off of that. But
If you write a book and then you sell that book,
yeah. But so
Or-
that's more
or-
of a straightforward thing. Like you write a book, you can sell the book. But like
Yes.
science and engineering, I have like you write a paper and then build something or like
no,
invent
like if
something,
you if you find a cure for a disease, or if you find a new medication, you can sell that to a company that makes medication. If
that just sounds evil to me. But just
It does kind of. It sounds a little like there's something sneaky happening.
I just invented the cure for AIDS. Let me see what company wants to have. What's the highest bidder for this? Where can I sell
I
my
created something that might save humanity.
Where can
How
I
much
sell
money
it?
can I get out of this?
yeah,
Okay.
But I don't really care about the whole educational part of this. I want to get back into your personal life. All right.
Wait, what about my personal life?
All right. Let's see. So, what I'm getting from you is that the whole mechanical engineering was more of a pragmatic decision. Like you liked it, but I mean, of course, there's better things in the world for you personally.
Yeah, I mean, when I got out of high school, I figured, well, I can't major in watching TV on the couch all day, so let me figure out what I can actually get a job at. And I really liked physics in high school, and math. So I wanted to major in something that I would use the stuff that I liked in physics.
Would you say that now, today, that you have more of an interest or you find more joy in mechanical engineering or that kind of area or in radio? Because those are the two big things in your life right now.
Right now, I find more joy in radio and music. But I don't know if I felt the same way before coming to MIT.
but you weren't.
So
but
MIT
you-
kind of like hammered down a little bit of that joy.
But that's kind of like unfair because you're not doing any engineering right now. Like you're.
That is also true.
Yeah.
That's true. You graduated a little bit ago, and right now you're looking for a job, which I would imagine looking for a mechanical engineering job in Boston wouldn't be the easiest thing. There's like a million mechanical engineers here.
Yeah, there's a lot of engineers here in Boston, a lot of MIT graduates. So I don't really stand out so much. But yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of these people also care about what's it called, experience, and yeah, I guess I in the end, even though I was in grad school, a lot of people don't really see grad school as experience.
Well, technically, grad school is experience, but I mean, I guess jobs don't really look at that.
Yeah, no, they're dumb.
Well, I mean, you have that thesis you wrote. You can use that and be like, "Hey, look, I made this shit. Look at this shit I researched, and that's a thing."
Yeah. No, I mean, there's all that, but like they, a lot of jobs they care about is can you do this particular thing very well? Like, can you build stuff? Can you, I don't know. I mean, like whatever job it is that you're applying to, they really only care about like
Get a little bit more closer.
the particular skill that you are gonna be using.
So there's like very particular specific fields in mechanical engineering.
Yeah. Even in what I'm working on, I tell people that I design a lot of stuff and I also do a lot of controls, and I've put a lot of systems together, and then they're asking me like, oh, so do you like design or do you like system integration? And I'm like, it's all the same thing. Like yeah, I mean, I might have some preferences, but I need a job, not like, I don't really care. Like,
Well, I don't.
So what do you say? Like you can do it all.
Yeah, I mean, I try to tell them that I like the whole process of it. There's parts of it I don't like, so that's why I'm not applying to those positions. But if you see me applying to multiple positions within your company, it means that all of them are things I can do.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the more like education you need for a specific job, the people who are looking for those employees, they're kind of like full of shit. Like the people hiring, they just like ask stupid questions that don't really matter. Am I close?
Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid questions for them. It's just that there's always a disconnect between what people looking for jobs want and what people hiring people want. People who are hiring, they're looking for a match made in heaven of like somebody whose purpose in life is to accomplish the particular job that you're looking to fill, and they just want somebody that like fits in perfectly. They have the right education. They have 13 years of experience, yet they're only 25, and
especially in
they-
like the jobs you're applying for, because you actually have like important things you'd be doing, like engineering and stuff. The jobs we've applied for is like, do you have a heartbeat? Can you move?
Like my job is like, can you stand for about 8 hours?
I mean, the jobs that I work right now are also very similar to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of these higher, I don't know, yeah, these more educated jobs, they put a lot of emphasis on, like, yeah, is this job gonna be your life essentially? Like they really want to find somebody whose drive in life is to accomplish this.
Do they
this
expect
job.
you to work like 80 hours a week and shit?
Depends on the company, but yeah, essentially like they don't. A lot of them might see 40 hours as like the base level, and
Like that's where you have to start.
yeah, basically. But especially if it's like small companies, they will expect you to be there for like, I don't know, like 60 hours a week or something.
So they're basically looking for people with ambition and people who don't care about labor laws.
A lot of them, yeah, yes.
Jesus, that just sounds horrible to me.
Yeah.
Like
I can't. I
couldn't-
don't know. It's hard for me to have a real job, but you know.
yeah. I can barely do the job I'm doing now because I
Well, you're also not getting
like
paid.
they asked me once in like 5 weeks. They asked me, like, "Yo, can you stay an extra hour?" I was like, in my heart, it was like, I want to punch you in the face right now.
It's like that's an insult to me. Like, why are you asking me this?
Obviously, outside, I said, "Yeah, sure," but inside, it's like, "Who the fuck are you to ask me
Get somebody
for an
else
extra
to tell,
hour of my life?"
Tell somebody else to get like tourists to take off their shoes. I don't want to do it.
Can we? Oh god! And you, I don't. This isn't. I promise you guys, this is not racist. But
But it is racist.
It's about to be.
Please.
I work in a terminal that sees a lot of international people.
Oh god.
I want
A lot
this
of
to
them
be
don't speak
so
English, which is
specifically.
fine.
I want this to be so specifically racist that it's
I know,
just
right?
like I swear to you, these Czechoslovakians, their feet smell like porridge. I don't know why.
No,
I don't know why.
I've actually met I met a lot of people, Czech people, and they're actually very kind, and a lot of them know English. But like most of the time when they don't know English, like there's like I'm gonna say like 20% of the time international tourists don't speak English, which is fine because I'll tell them something that I get that they don't understand it, and I'll use like hand signals to like get to translate, and they'll get it. But there is one nationality that does not understand anything I do ever, and those are the Chinese. There's nothing wrong with the Chinese. They're beautiful, intelligent, loving people.
Now, are we having an honest discussion or are we having?
This is honest. They're beautiful. They're loving. They're very intelligent. They're actually very friendly when you talk to them. But if they don't know a lick of English, they don't understand anything I'm doing ever.
Not
Like I
even
said, your
hand gestures
shoes,
or anything.
and I'll point to them, and it's like those are shrug. It's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, I lived in a rice paddy for 20 years. I don't know what you want
stop.
from me.
No, you can't do this.
I'm
my
assuming
God.
I'm assuming David has some opinions about Chinese people because I'm assuming that most of your classes are like 80% Chinese.
Well, the Chinese people, like most people, just generally at MIT, are very well educated, as you would imagine, and it's very easy to get along with most people at MIT. Maybe some of them to live with is a little bit different, but I did have to deal with Chinese tourists, especially over the summer, because I do tours of MIT, and sometimes I would get groups of like 60 Chinese high schoolers, and I'll have one friend or like one. I mean, the friend's not, but like one coworker translate what they're saying to me.
In Mandarin.
Yeah, and there is definitely some cultural differences there, and I mean there are definitely things that like frustrated me particularly about Chinese people, but
Like what?
They kept
David?
wanting to.
I mean the most obvious thing is when they like had to take pictures of everything, but
Really? They take pictures of everything?
everything. And then
Like with
David
doors and
David
chairs
just
and
lost
shit?
his show, by the way. He just lost
Well,
it.
to be fair, in China they have censored internet, so they might not be able to see those pictures.
Oh, you know what? That might be true. They
Yeah,
probably
that's a
don't
fair
see
point.
pictures of MIT.
maybe I don't know. I mean, well they can. I mean they take pictures of stuff that's relevant and like important and all that stuff, but they also take pictures of like very, in my opinion, silly things. There was one time I saw a girl go into a washing machine and take a picture of the inside of the washing machine.
Ah, that's not cool.
You know, this is a weird.
probably
Hey,
never saw-
let me
Oh, no.
let me tell you some shit. Like when I was in college, there are these two Chinese girls that like didn't know much English at all, but they hung.
This
over-
is getting very racist.
This is not a racist thing.
No.
People from Taiwan don't act this way, and they're Chinese.
no. So like
This is a very
Well,
much.
they have more exposure
this-
to Western
no,
media.
but I'm
though.
saying-
Yeah,
Look.
this is more of a. If you come from the People's Republic of China, you tend to act this way.
Okay.
Well, I don't
It's probably
know.
because
I don't know
they're-
if this is a Chinese thing or if it's this girl, but like there's these two Chinese girls that were in a few of my classes. They didn't speak much English, but they hung around each other. And one of them I saw one time had a bag that just said "I'm a good person" on it. And that's it. It was a black bag, and it just said "I'm a good person." And I don't.
That was in preparation for
and
the
I
point
really-
system that they got working on over there.
I really don't know if that's because she just doesn't know English and she didn't know what it said, or if she saw that and I'm
okay.
like, this will let people know I'm a good person. Maybe they'll like me.
So
And
wait,
But I just got
is
back
that
from
the
Colombia,
Asian
and
equivalent?
you would find hilarious what the kind of English shirts that people
what
wear.
what they got? What-
like what is it? What does one of them say? Something like oh my god, talk to the hand or something like that.
yeah, they just have stupid shit because it just
Yeah, just basically dumb
They
stuff.
have random
it's
sayings
the
that don't
equivalent of
work
when
anymore.
someone gets a Chinese symbol as a tattoo. They don't know what the fuck it says. They're just
Yeah, it's like half
Yeah,
the time
exactly.
it says like turkey or something.
yeah. And Hispanic, and just to be fair, Hispanic people do this all the time. I've seen plenty of Hispanic people with shirts in English that they're like, I have no idea what this says. I just got this shirt. so I'm
especially in
wearing it."
like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like Cuba or whatever, because they just get shipped shirts like just
Yeah.
and stuff, and they're like,
Oh
"Here,
yeah,
take it."
yeah. In Cuba, you see a lot of like just random shirts.
They're just like
It's like-
800 Mickey Mouse shirts. They're like, I don't even know what a Mickey Mouse is. They know what Mickey Mouse
They'll
is.
have like a 2004 Marlins World Series winning shirt, and the Marlins didn't win in 2004.
I was just about to say that like if you go to like any one of the like countries in Africa, that's where they ship all the championship shirts that were made that were
They just give them the
those are the shirts that were made, but like in case the other team won, and when they don't win, they ship them straight to like any one of the African countries. and
Really?
it's just a bunch of
I didn't know they
so
did
it's just-
that. That's cool.
Yeah, they can't sell them here, right? Because that would be a huge offense or anything. So they just ship them off to a different country completely.
Well, I mean, you got to do something with them.
Yeah, I mean you
But,
can't just burn them.
I do think though that China has like stark differences or like very visible differences than the rest of the world because it's been less attracted to globalization.
Actually, I want to get
they're more isolated than we realize. I think.
I want to get you
believe so.
guys' opinion on this. China is really confusing to me because on the humanitarian front, they're the worst country in the world. At least one of them.
One of the worst. Well, probably the worst.
In like taking away your freedom, censoring you, literally
Yeah,
murdering you. Like
They
they're in
kill
the
the most people.
Probably second
to
only
this
to like
day.
North Korea, probably
but
like right up there.
they're actually like environmentally they're actually trying to clean up. They're getting rid of coal plants. They're like doing a lot of shit scientific.
Dude,
like they're actually
That's because. That's
mean, they
because
also
were
can't
dying.
breathe.
They were dying.
That's true.
Like,
They're doing it out of necessity. I think.
I don't
the
know. That
smog
was
in
just
Hong
kind of
Kong
weird
was so
to me.
bad. The smog in Hong Kong was so bad at a certain point. It was like L.A. back in like what was that, like the 50s or whatever, when there were just clouds of smog.
No, I think it was
killing
like the
people.
90s.
Was it the 90s? Or was that recent? But
I believe
Yeah, it
so.
was.
but whatever.
I
Either way,
think
the smog there was so bad, it was just ridiculous. So that, of course they had to make a change, or else it just
Yeah, no,
everyone
the
would die.
density in China is ridiculous. So like
Yeah.
they can't even put the plants further away from the city because you just run into another city.
Yeah, so you just got to get rid of them at that point.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about
it's
that.
literally you can't escape it. It's just a cloud of smog all over the entire half of the country.
Well, the problem is they actually do know how to fix it because when like a big event happens, like the Olympics or something, they just get rid of the smog.
Yeah.
Like when a giant shipment of tourists are gonna come over, they'll just stop the cars running. Like
Yeah.
they'll close down the factories and nobody's allowed to drive, and then the smog like clears overnight.
That's what happens when you have an authoritative government like that. Like,
David, I have one question for you.
go ahead.
What is the validity of a robot apocalypse? Is that actually possible?
Yes, please answer this.
Because Danny
I-
is definitely afraid of it, and I don't think it's actually a possibility. What do you think?
I just want to make it clear though that David, while very smart, only has a master's, and in the future I'm going to work on getting a PhD in robotic engineering to answer this. But go ahead, David.
That being said, Danny is correct. In
I'm correct. See, there's an apocalypse coming, and we gotta get ready.
I
for
kind of, to be fair, I kind of have loosened my opinion before. I thought it wasn't possible at all. Now with like things in AI that I've seen and learned about, I think it actually is kind of possible, but not in the same way that
It's-
Danny thinks.
didn't someone
it's-
die in Amazon because of a freaking AI program apparently malfunctioned and they got like run down by it?
I don't know.
Yeah, like one of
So
the
there's-
transporting
there's-
vehicles.
Let David talk. What's
I
up?
don't think
Go,
robots
sorry,
are not gonna take over the way we think we are. Like at least not in our lifetime. If you are actually in robotics, like progress right now is very far behind from like what humans can actually do. And
But they do, like, in the media, they make it seem like, oh my god, this thing is going so fast. Like, robots are going to be, like, sentient within, like, the week.
yeah, I mean, we show the best things that we have on the media, and usually those things are like propped up so that they look better than they actually are. But like, I mean, have you talked to your Alexa or your Hey Google lately?
We're too poor for those things, but go
Yeah, we're
on.
too poor to have either Google or Alexa or Siri.
Well, anyways, they're not terribly smart. All they do is they're like parrots, basically. They just repeat back to you what they think it is that you're asking.
And record everything you have so Amazon can have it. But go on.
Yeah.
What's-
I mean,
what's
I think the real danger is when how other humans use technology. I don't think the technology itself is something to worry about right now.
So the big danger to humanity is still humanity.
But
Of course.
Yeah.
But the thing
So
is, like,
Danny,
AI
I would be.
AI is advancing to not. I mean, I don't think it'll be in our lifetime, but I think it is like the Ray Kurzweil singularity thing is actually like a thing that might happen. AI might like just they could become sentient and shit. What do you think about that?
No, not for a while. I mean, I don't see that happening, but at the very least, not in our lifetime.
Do you have any idea what, like, the theory is that one day robots will, like, I don't know, metaphorically or physically or literally just wake up and become aware of what they are and, like, just basically a human? What is
No, I
that
mean-
possible, and what would that look like?
If that were ever to happen, we would know that way ahead in advance, and we would be basically allowing it to happen.
Well, the way humans operate is that we want that shit to happen, so people will make it.
I don't. I
Knowing
really
that
don't
that's-
want that to happen.
Well, we don't really give robots like the desire to do the same things that humans want to do. Like,
Do robots have desire though?
I mean, robots don't need land. I mean, I can see maybe robots creating their own paradise in some server somewhere else, and then like
Yeah.
spending part of their.
That's like what happened in Her, I guess. In the movie Her, if any of you've seen it, I guess not.
I haven't seen it.
I did see it actually, yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix
Yeah, at the end, all the robots kind of
and his mustache.
yeah.
That mustache was famous by the end of it.
He was really good in the movie. But at the end of that movie, all the spoilers alert, I guess, whatever. But at the end of the movie, all the AI things kind of go off into their own thing and leave all the humans.
Yeah, that to me makes more sense. I think most robots are not interested in our world.
Well, that's what I'm
Do they
saying.
have
Like,
interest?
that was my one thing is that, like, before, it's like we program machines, so we can't make them. Like Isaac Asimov had the 3 rules of robotics or whatever. Like that's a thing that we can program into them. But the whole point of his books was that they'd find ways around it. Like it's logic puzzles, it's programming, it's logic loops and stuff, and they could be like the working ways that we don't know.
All it does is operations, really, at the end of the day.
But the thing, what I want to know is, well, what I believe might happen in a theoretical future is that we get so advanced that we are able to give robots some kind of sentience, some kind of idea of free will or something, and sure, we can give them those three laws of robotics or whatever. But what if we give them a free will, essentially, where they can say, yeah, those are the rules, but screw it, I'm a robot supremacist.
I don't know if that'll happen. I think if robots kill us all, it will be because we fucked up in our programming.
Yeah.
And
gonna
because
say,
that would
isn't
never
there-
happen.
Isn't there
Humans never mess up.
Hold on a second. Isn't there what is it, an AI? I forgot what it's called, like Deep Thought or something like that, where it's literally like it learns actively or attempts to learn actively via whatever information.
Well, that's
it
neural
absorbs.
networks and stuff. That's the stuff that AI is doing now, that they're learning things. Like, they have, like, chat bots online and stuff. I think Microsoft made one that they had to take down because it became racist or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the prevailing theory for all robot conspiracy theorists, is that like that type of thinking is what's gonna make them gain sapience.
I mean, they're still not sentient. They're just replicating.
They just learn.
I get
Yeah.
that. I think we should be way more worried about them taking all of our jobs.
But, I mean, it's also
than
what's the
killing us all,
definition
but-
of sentience? Like, how do you know? Like, they could... I mean, that's a philosophy now. I don't know. You don't have a PhD
that's another
in
question.
that.
Do humans have the capacity to create sentience? Can we play? Are we that capable of playing God?
Yeah, we don't even know how we have sentience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
God, Jesus. That's my. That's what it is. but
Jesus?
okay. I guess.
I mean, we don't.
Hey, load up
even
the
if you
robots
believe
with the
that-
Bible. They'll learn sentience, I guess.
That would be-
Even
that
if
would
you
be
believe
interesting.
that, we don't know the mechanisms that lead to us having sentience.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, and which is another argument for Jesus. It's so complicated that only God could do it.
Okay, Danny.
That's
great.
That's pretty much what we thought about vaccines as well.
Yeah.
Hey,
There is
We can't cure that. Sorry, only God can cure you.
that's true. And now we're going back to
Very
that.
fair point. It's a very fair point.
Don't use
there are
vaccines.
people
God
who
will
are
give you
reverting back to
autism.
that.
Look at that. You just gave your kid autism.
Yeah, God does not approve of these vaccines. Don't use them.
Oh Lord, please
Alright,
let's not
okay,
let's not
let's-
give
let's-
them fuel.
Okay. That wasn't r/sarcasm. If you don't like vaccines, you're a moron.
Yeah. Please, just
You're literally killing people.
vaccinate your kids.
Vaccinate
I-
your kids. Vaccinate yourself. Get everything vaccinated. It's necessary.
Oh my God.
We'll see.
Shut your mouth, Lucy.
Please vaccinate your kids. It's just, it's better for the whole world.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any final questions though? Because I do need to get going to my my professional podcast, aka my radio show.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, David, you're free to go. But this has been very entertaining, and I hope you come back.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, listen to Three Gorillas podcast.
Woo!
That's a
On
pretty-
Three Gorillas podcast.
It's gonna be an ineffective plug on the Trigo.
Mention us on your show. Mention us on your show.
I'll mention you guys on my show.
We need the people.
don't
We
have
need
to.
the we
Listen,
need ratings.
listen to that.
We need
Beats.
people to
Listen to his radio show. Plug it real quick. I forgot what it was called.
Oh yeah, my show is called Tender Hooligans. It's at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. I also have a show every other Sunday. This Sunday in particular, I will have a show on the 27th. It's from 2 to 4 p.m. It's called The Treaty of Tordesillas. For all you history buffs out there, that's the treaty between Spain and Portugal to divide up the New World.
That sounds
Wow,
that's
that
actually
I wanna hear
sounds
about that.
that sounds great. Where can they listen to this?
You can listen to it 88.1 FM on if you're in Boston or at WMBR.org, where we keep recordings of the show for 2 weeks. And I am working on my own to put all my recordings online. But
That sounds great.
Well,
Well, thank you, David. If you do plug us on your show, which you don't have to, but please do, remember that this is going to be on Fridays. We do not record on Fridays, but the show just happens to come out on Fridays. All right. Well, you can go, David. Just kidding.
okay, go back.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think that was great. I
Yeah.
really found that
It wasn't
fascinating.
bad.
That was pretty
Yeah, I
good.
should get more people to interview. I think I'm a good interviewer.
Yeah, I
not
think if you
bad.
could stick on points, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we do have
I
actual.
want to talk about this Chinese girl that had a bag that I'm a good person. I didn't get too much into this because I didn't want to derail us too much. But seriously, that shit fucked me up.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, I don't look. I'll let it pass if she doesn't know English. But she knew enough English to read a bag and know what
was
it
it
said.
was it a plastic bag? What was
It was like a black tote bag type thing where she just like put her school stuff in, and it just
So
said,
it was
I'm
like
a-
printed on.
Yeah.
It was like it
What
was
company makes
manufactured
that?
like that.
I don't know, and it just said I'm a good person, and I don't know like if she saw that and I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I am a good person. People should know. I don't. And like,
Well, here's the question, Lucy. If that was true, if she thought that, what does that say to you about that person?
that's just like, look, I don't know if that's how she thinks. I don't know how she got into college. Like,
I don't know what to say to that.
And just so everyone out there knows, we love and respect all Asian people.
I'm not
everybody.
saying
goes
Asians
without
are
saying.
stupid. I'm not,
I just you never know. Some people could think the wrong thing.
if
about the
anything,
comments,
Asians are destroying us in the intellectual
but
categories.
in several fields, they are crushing us. It is
They do
quite
put a higher
unfortunate.
focus on education. We have to put a higher focus on education in this country.
We need to.
I like
completely
it.
shift
Make
our-
it-
Yeah.
We need to like
Everything.
focus on it at all. Just like make it a little good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least make it accessible to people who usually don't have access to a better education.
You know, maybe we can get a director of what is that position called? The school director. Fuck, my whole
Like a
idea is
dean,
stupid.
a
Go
dean
on.
of a
So-
college.
No, the government position.
I don't know, man.
Just forget
Listen,
it. The one that Betsy DeVos is in. But like,
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe we
yeah.
maybe we can get someone there who actually likes
education
education.
secretary. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Department
Listen,
of Secretary. Yeah,
What I want to do is Boston has a lot of important people, a lot of interesting people. Maybe I'll just find other people to interview.
if,
you know,
yeah, look, if you find
Yeah.
people that are willing to get on the show and to talk to
Yeah.
20 people, go ahead.
that'd be great, man.
I'll just find random people on the street. Everybody's interesting. Everybody has a story.
Just walk around and ask people on the street things with a microphone.
Yeah. No, not one. I'll lure them into my basement.
That
Okay,
sounds-
don't do
that
this. Don't
sounds
let's
problematic.
abort mission. Let's do something
I
else.
do not. I'm not going to abort mission.
Don't lure people into anything, Danny.
If you see
He's a
anybody in
large,
the
bald
airport,
man.
if you see anybody interesting at the airport, just say, "Hey, you want to go to my basement?"
What? It doesn't have to be the airport. It could be anywhere, really.
Well, I'm just saying you work at an
But-
airport, so you meet, lots of people.
They don't have to know where I
They
work.
already
Chrissy.
know.
All right. You know what? The mechanical engineer is right here. The PhD.
Yeah.
His name's Valerio. Hey, Valerio.
Hey, what's up?
We'll talk to you next week, I guess.
Of course.
He's
right,
got
but I
the
do-
PhD, so he's for real. He knows what he's talking about. David,
Yeah.
he's like, he's
Yeah, David doesn't know shit about robotics.
He's on the
Valerio,
radio,
he's a
for God's
guy.
sake. He took the name of his radio show from a Smith song, for God's sake. What's he know about the robots?
Really? That's a Smith song?
Sweet and Tender Hooligans is a Smith song.
Oh, all right. Well, the Smiths are good.
I like them.
All right. Well, I do actually have topics. Can we cover one topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe. We'll see what it is.
All right. Well, most of our topics tend to be Netflix, so I'm gonna keep on that, that
Okay.
trajectory. So, last night I watched this really good documentary. It's called Fire, Fyre,
The Fire Fest thing?
the Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with this?
I am.
I am not.
Wait, okay. Well, for Sammy and for any listener who doesn't know, Fire Festival was this. It was supposed to be. I'm going to say a few years ago. It was supposed to be this giant festival comparable to Coachella, set in the Bahamas. It was supposed to be in a private island. You were supposed to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars to get your own bungalow. And it was gonna be like classy food. It was gonna be giant names, like concert, and you were just gonna have the greatest time of your life in a random island in the Bahamas, right? This doesn't affect the documentary at all because everybody knows this. It turned out to be the most epic shit show probably in the last 50 years.
I do remember hearing about this. Yeah.
I mean, to give you a little taste of the disaster that it was, the bungalows ended up being FEMA tents.
Yep.
They got tents from FEMA because they couldn't basically. Okay, I don't even want to get into the story because you can listen to it on the Netflix documentary. I'm gonna get into the documentary itself. Usually, I don't really find much interest in documentaries. For me to watch a documentary, it has to be something that that I find some genuine interest in. So the documentary about soybeans, I'm not going to watch, right? And I really wasn't going to watch this one because I don't really give a shit about the Fire Festival. A bunch of rich white people had a bad time. I don't care. But I saw the trailer, and the trailer really sparked my interest because it was about... The trailer made it focus not on the event itself. It focused on the person who created the event. So it was Ja Rule and this person, Billy McFarland. And it focused on McFarland. Ja Rule, the documentary made it seem like Ja Rule was just some guy who jumped on to have a good time. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
Ja
Billy
Rule
McFarlane
was there. He was the celebrity aspect. He was the reason why. Well, at least one reason why people hooked onto it. It's like, oh, Ja Rule's like part of the thing,
Yeah, and somebody, I don't remember who said something really, really amazing. He says, like, the fact that they got Ja Rule as a celebrity influencer at all should tell you that this was a scam. Which is true. What millennial right now knows who the hell Ja Rule
Yeah, I
is?
don't.
So that was a red flag for anybody who could imagine this. But so the documentary was amazing because it didn't get into the festival itself until I'm gonna say the beginning of the third act. The first 2/3 of the movie is build up. It gets into how they got the idea for it. It gets who Billy McFarland is, how he got his money, who Ja Rule was, how this all started, and then how they get the idea for the festival. And then it gets into piece by piece the shit show that the festival became. From the beginning, they did every single thing wrong. For an example, first of all, also Billy McFarland is just a giant liar. He's a scam artist. It shows at the end he's the most massive scam artist you can ever imagine, right? So in the beginning, he says no, I bought this island. It cost me $10 million. I paid for it in cash. No, I'm not renting it. I'm not leasing it. The deal was that he said he paid $10 million in cash up front. And apparently, the deal was to pay in installments. The first installment for $1 million, and apparently the owner didn't even get that, right? So I'm just gonna give you this little piece. As for the island, the island was famous for being Pablo Escobar's island in the Bahamas. Where he relaxed and everything. And they said listen, you can have the island. The only thing is you can't talk about how it's Pablo Escobar's island. They wanted to change the reputation of the island. So the second they were allowed access onto the island, they said, yo, this is Pablo Escobar's island. They put a giant commercial and in giant letters, Escobar's island. Now we have it, right? And so the owner says, yo, get out. We're not giving this to you, right? And so they had to find a different island. And so they found an island that was already populated. They said that this was going to be, an uninhabited island in the middle of the Bahamas. This was a very much populated island, that there was this one piece that was supposed to be developed for homes, and somebody I guess they quit halfway through, and it was just the roads. So it was just a construction site that they were going to use for the festival. It was a shit show. And the most amazing part is, if they actually did everything right, or did some things right, this could have been amazing. But Billy McFarland is such an asshole and makes every wrong decision and just wants to do everything in the shittiest way possible, that it is the biggest disaster I could ever imagine happening. At the very end, the very last day, by the last day, the night before, they say, okay, it's not going to be great, but we might actually be able to pull this off. It's going to be a shitty festival, but it's going to be a festival, right?
That's what they said.
And I guess God was just like, these people are shitty people. They're not going to get away with this. And so God makes it rain a thunderstorm the night before. And any progress they were able to make is destroyed. So this is going to be the shittiest. The people who paid for this basically landed in a hurricane site. It was, it was horrible.
Were there any bands that went?
No, they didn't make it. They hired acts to go. Also, they like hired the shittiest acts. Like Blink-182 was on the roster. And
That's my high school right there.
They overpaid everybody. They just like, yeah, we offered the artists like twice their asking rate.
Why?
And none of them got the money. We just said, oh, we'll give you this much. And they never got the money, right?
But did any of them actually go to the island?
No, they didn't make it. The first group of people, I think it was like the first group of 300 people made it. And just with those 300s,
Jesus.
it was a shit show. Like, people were like ransacking tents. They didn't know where to go. They like were running out of food and water. People were like running around like scared, losing their friends. They didn't know where they were in the FEMA site. It was like, and it was with 1/3 of the people that were supposed to be there. It was just the most complete, utter disaster you could possibly think of. I don't want to get too much into it because there is a lot of amazing information in the documentary. I just want to say this documentary does everything right for a documentary. It finds a very interesting topic. It tells it in a very interesting way. You know, it goes from beginning, middle, and end. Like,
I love
who
that
is this guy?
I love that your rules for a good documentary. Have it be interesting. Have it have a beginning, middle, and end.
Well, no, the way they tell the story is how do you say? It's captivating.
Another word for interesting, but go on.
I'm gonna. What I like about it is that it doesn't focus as much on the festival itself. It focuses on this. What the hell is that?
God, Sammy.
What?
Your baby went Super Saiyan. What is she doing?
Thank you. That's such a compliment. No,
What I like about
she's literally at the door screaming for me to get outside and play with her.
Oh, poor baby.
I know, right?
Well, tell the baby to shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Listen.
gonna do. Yeah, I'll make sure to tell it to my daughter.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Listen, so the thing I love about the Netflix documentary, by the way, there's also a Hulu documentary that came out like 2 days before.
Are those
So
different
that was-
documentaries?
They're very different.
Okay, because I
documentaries
didn't know,
about the same
because I heard
subject.
stuff about the Fire one on Netflix and one on Hulu, and I'm like, did they release them on both simultaneously? The same thing? That's
Nope.
weird. And I'm like,
No, and Hulu did a dick move, by the
What'd
way.
they do?
Hulu had the documentary, right? And Netflix was promoting the shit out of the documentary, like putting out commercials, YouTube, like just it was putting the Fire documentary everywhere, right? Because it was a big deal. And Hulu didn't do shit. Nobody had any idea that Hulu was working on a documentary. And so 2 days before the Netflix one was set to come out, Hulu just pops out with theirs. It's like, hey, here's the actual documentary. Maybe just jump on Hulu instead. Right? So they're giant dicks.
that's great. They're the Billy
Right.
McFarlands of streaming services.
Yes. But I personally found the Netflix one extremely entertaining, and I like the Netflix one because it focused I didn't watch the Hulu one, but the Netflix one focused very much on Billy McFarland, and it focused on his company and who Billy McFarland was and what he turned out to be, what he was exposed to be. And so the festival was more just like an instrument to show who Billy McFarland was. So it was great because I think like it would have been very easy to focus on the festival itself, and it was the story behind Billy McFarland was a lot more interesting. You know what I mean?
I saw like 20 minutes of it, and the whole time I was like, when are they gonna get to the actual festival?
They don't. They really don't. They like when the day comes of the festival, it's maybe I'm gonna say like 15 minutes of the documentary.
Well,
They don't, because to be fair, it wasn't that long. It was a day, like the first
They
day
were stuck
they
there
knew it
for
was a
a
shit
week
show.
or something, weren't they?
No, they weren't. It was the people who landed there. Remember, only 1/3 of the invited guests actually got there first, and the rest like were immediately turned around because they realized it was a shit show.
Yeah.
So the first 300 people to arrive were the ones who really suffered. Like no food, no water, no place to stay. Like basically living exposed to the to the elements, in tents that weren't finished. And just like they got them really drunk. Like the second they arrived on the island, the festival wasn't even close to ready. So they just sent the 300 people to a freaking bar and just loaded them up on tequila. So they by the time they actually got to the festival, they were just drunk and they had no idea what was happening. They had no idea where to go. It was just complete disaster.
But how long
all
were they
around.
there for?
Probably, I don't know the exact timetable, but I'm gonna say maybe the people who landed there 2 days, 3 days.
Because I remember,
At the most 3 days.
I remember when this shit happened. Like I kept hearing shit about that, and it made it seem like they were there for like at least a week or something. And I'm like,
No,
why didn't they just?
They made it seem like that because they're rich white people.
Okay,
Now,
because I'm like,
I
it's
did
like,
learn-
you can't just like sleep in a tent for like 2 days. Like chill the fuck out.
I did learn a few lessons about this though, from this documentary. Lesson number 1: if anybody says to you, or you hear anybody say, "I'm selling a lifestyle,"
Don't do
they are a scam
Yeah.
artist. They are nothing. They are human garbage. They are the lowest of the low. Anybody who wants to sell you a lifestyle is a piece of human shit. All right. 2, if you are rich and you are looking for investments, do not invest in a person. Do not invest in one individual person. Invest in a company. Invest in an LLC. Invest in companies that have a good work history. Invest in, actual like strong idea that has a solid foundation. Don't invest in a person because this guy was able to get investors left and right out of his charisma. He was just like everybody thought it's like this guy was a wonderkind. He's a superhuman. He's the smartest guy in the world. No. Anybody who makes you think he's the smartest guy in the room is actually just the most manipulative person in the room.
Yep.
Because there is actually no smartest person in the room. That's what I come to figure out. Nobody's actually the smartest person in the room. Everybody's just a piece of shit, all right? The smartest person in the room is the one who's able to make you think he's the smartest person in the room.
Well, a
He's
lot
the
of
most
times,
manipulative.
there'll be like startup businesses and shit that'll hire a guy like that guy to be like the face
Yeah.
man, and they're the ones that
And
get
they
invented.
shouldn't.
But the thing is, like, they actually have like talent in the background, like designing the shit and stuff and things like that, and then they have the Billy McFarland guy to just get people
Listen.
interested. This time, it was just that guy, nobody else. That's the problem.
Yes. Well, even in those cases when there's a company is like, we need somebody to be the face of the company. That what the company is saying is like, we need somebody to manipulate other people.
That's what advertising is, Danny.
Yes. That's why advertising is full of scam artists.
It is, but
'Cause
like,
it's
look,
just
I don't
people who are
like
good at
advertising, but
manipulation.
advertising is a scam. Like they're selling like infomercials like are a scam in the most basic way because they just make it seem like you can't do normal things. Like pour a glass of milk. They have a bitch that can't pour a glass of milk. It's like buy our milk pourer because you obviously can't do it yourself. Like that's a lie, and they're lying.
Exactly.
To you.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. No, everybody knows how to pour freaking milk.
Yeah.
So those are two. Another lesson I learned is, well, it's a lesson I learned about myself, and it's how do I explain this? I feel happy that those rich people who went to the festival had that experience.
Yeah.
I'm happy that they suffered a little bit because if you have the money to spend multiple of thousands of dollars to supposedly go to a solitary island in the middle of nowhere and like live this lavish lifestyle and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, it's good that you like get taken down a
And
step,
especially those people because
Might suffer a little
and
bit.
especially those people because anybody who spent like $2,500 to go to a music festival on an abandoned island did not earn that money. They just got
also
it inherited.
it wasn't
or whatever.
$2,500. It was like $4,000.
Yeah,
And then
so like anybody
this guy
who's spending
who's-
that to go to a fucking private island for a music festival is just like rich by their parents or something. Like they didn't earn any money.
Exactly. And it wasn't just the 4,000 for the tickets. This guy who was I'll give him this, he's a very good scam artist. He's very good at getting people's money. He's not a good scam artist because a good scam artist wouldn't get caught. This guy was very easily caught.
If he was good, he would have been gone as soon as he got the money.
If he was a good scam artist, like the first plane arrived, he would have been in Canada.
Yeah.
This guy decided to stay because he's a freaking idiot. But he's very good at manipulating people because he didn't only get like $4,000 for the tickets. He got another like $4,000 or $5,000 in like he said it's like they're running low on funds. So he's like, listen, if you want to buy stuff on the island, like extra packets, like, you know, ride around in a jet ski kind of packets, or like, you know, parachute or a spa day or some shit, you have to buy a wristband, and the wristband is going to be the currency because it has like a little chip on it or some bullshit. And he sent an email to everybody. It's like, all the money you have to put in your wristband, right?
And he just took their money.
They just put their money because it's like, listen, there's not going to be cash on the island. So you have to buy a wristband, and you have to put cash in the wristband. And so people would spend another $4,000 or $5,000 to put on the wristband because he said you should put $4,000 or $5,000 on the wristband. He gave them a number to put on, which also another red light, another warning sign. Don't do that. So I don't feel bad for them because they had $10,000 to spend. He took the money.
Like he just they put it in the wristband, and he's like, "Well, that's mine now."
Yes. And also he did it to the surprise of everybody else working there. Like the email went out, it's like, what wristbands? What the hell is he talking about? Wristbands?
That's crazy.
You know? And that's another thing he did. He promised people things that weren't actually true. Like he said, like, he told his investors every once in a while he would just go to New York and come back with sacks of cash. And he says, like, no, Drake is gonna be there. We got R. Kelly to go on, bullshit like that. And then he also just lied. Like he said, it's like, I own like 2 million shares of Facebook. He actually owned $1,500 worth of Facebook. So he was just a massive liar. And his real talent was making people believe him, which is a talent, but I mean, that's the only thing he had a talent in. And so when people make you want, for anybody who's listening, when somebody makes you think they're a big deal, they're just a manipulator. All right? Nobody's a big deal. Okay? Nobody's that smart. Nobody's that much of a big. If somebody's talking up himself, it's because he's a piece of human shit. All right?
Danny.
Real people are humble. Okay? Real human people don't talk about themselves.
Danny, I gotta go.
Lizard people talk about themselves.
Danny,
Yes.
I gotta go.
Oh, did Luis Sammy go?
No, I'm still here, man.
No, I gotta go. I got like the cat just apparently destroyed some stuff.
All right, you can get out of here, Lucy. I'm gonna close up anyways.
All right.
Okay,
right.
well,
So,
look,
Sammy-
since I'm not going to be at the ending, remember, Stamp, Jesus is your Lord and Savior. Buy stamps.
Okay, get out of here, Lucy. Get out. Just get out. All right, Sammy, you still there? So, what's your opinion on the thing? On what I said?
No, completely agree. Normal people, healthy human beings don't speak about themselves in such a manner, and I think it's funny and sad how easily certain people can be manipulated by people like that. I don't feel super sad for these people because they got a shit ton of money and they could bounce back from it. You know, it's not like they lost their livelihoods.
It's good that they went through it because they need to go through a little suffering in their lives. They have to know what struggling is.
I'm sure rich people have problems. That's one of them. Scam artists has got to be like their biggest problem, right? Well, poor people get hit by scammers a lot too, which is a serious issue. Particularly life insurance scams, since I used to sell life insurance. I know how often people get scammed by that. It's you got to be very careful.
So life insurance is a scam. That's what you're telling me.
No. I'm saying that dishonest people could use life insurance sales as a scam. And that you should be very wary and make sure the people you're buying things from are on the up and up. That's what we got the internet for, guys. It's not.
Yeah,
just
but you
for
can find
being
a lot of
racist.
scams on the internet too.
That's true.
Well, getting back to the documentary itself, I just want
watch it.
people to. I want people. Yeah, you should watch it.
I'm definitely gonna watch it. Yeah.
As far as a review of the documentary, extremely entertaining, extremely fascinating. I I suggest if you don't have Netflix, buy Netflix just to watch the documentary, because that documentary by itself is worth the $11 that Netflix is. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's $11 a month. All right. So it's very good, and Netflix has been doing a lot of good documentaries, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. They've always been good about the documentaries. Yeah, good shows. There's a movie that just came out. It's like 90 minutes. It's post-apocalypse.
Oh yeah, I
Sci-fi.
wanted to see that one. I got that
IO.
one on the list, on the queue.
I saw half of it. It's pretty good. It's really good.
I'll check it out. Well, so that's my review. Watch the documentary, and trust me, if you thought I talked a lot about it, if you thought I gave a lot of spoilers, I didn't. There's so much information that'll leave you ripping the hair off of your head. Seriously. You'll be furious. You'll be so angry at everybody who was involved in this. All right? So, just there's so much I want to get into, but it's going to take too long, and you can just watch the show. I mean, the documentary. It's like an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours, but it's definitely worth it. And so, yeah, that was my review of Fire, F-Y-R-E. I think that's enough. What do you think, Sammy?
I think that's pretty good. We had a good episode today.
I think this was a great episode.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good interview with a mechanical engineer / radio host, and we talked about fire.
Yeah.
And also we talked about Chinese people, which was very odd.
Yeah. Also, if we're about to sign off, I'd like to make an announcement real quick. For anybody who lives in Florida or plans to go to Florida for convention season, I will be at MegaCon May 16th through 19th. So if anyone wants to hang out with Three Gorillas guys, it'll mainly be me and my wife. Just let us know, comment, send emails. You know what to do.
What?
I like.
Why won't you involve me in this? Why?
Do you want to go? Can you make the trip? Because I would love to have you come.
This is literally the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
We gotta communicate better. All right, this is gonna turn into Fire Festival.
Well, it's like I want to go because I love conventions and I haven't been to MegaCon in over a decade. So,
Jesus.
Yeah. So definitely, we're doing all the stops. So we're all 4 days. Like we're getting the high end tickets so that we get bonus stuff. It's gonna be our little anniversary present to ourselves.
All right. Well, just make sure you network. All right. Just make sure you get the word out.
Well, that's why I'm getting it out here. Please, if you're in Florida or
no,
have
network
access to
on MegaCon. We gotta get listeners.
Don't worry. I'll talk to you about that afterwards. All right.
All right. Well, okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna sign off, people.
All right.
This has been a great episode of the Friday show. I'm really proud of us.
Yeah.
I'm also proud of you, the listener, for sticking out with us. I'm sure we have some people who like us, and for that, I thank you guys. We love you. We care about you. We want to entertain you. That's why it's called Three Gorillas Entertainment. We are three gorillas out here to entertain whoever is willing to listen to us.
Exactly.
So, okay, that's been another episode of the Friday show, guys. If you like us, please share the podcast. If you want to be part of the community, you can find us on 3_gorillas on Twitter. Spell out the word 3. Also, Three Gorillas Entertainment on Facebook, YouTube. There's a third one. Gmail. 3 Gorillas Entertainment at Gmail. And so thank you guys. We love you. Buy stamps, I guess. We love you. Goodbye. Cue the music. Bye.
Goodbye.